let's make lemonade. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go, 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 go.
Six.
It's beautiful.
Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude.
Wake up and hit the ground running. It's The Rush, presented by Willis Auto, with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bringing you raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic talk about sports, life, and everything else that matters. No filtered, no fluff, just The Rush.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you here. Of course, with Willis Automotive, you can check out the newly redesigned Nissan Sentra, one of the best values in the sedan market, packed with modern tech and convenient features. Start your buying journey at willisauto.com. If you're listening on the audio stream at the rushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. Watching on YouTube, good to see you all this morning. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give the video a like. Leave your comments in the comments section. Call the show at 515-517-2303 and follow us on our social media channels. Good morning, Ross Peterson.
What's up, buddy? Tuesday morning. Do you hear me?
Wake up and I got you just fine. Tuesday morning, we wake up with a Hawkeye women's loss at home. Remember last week when Jan Jensen was on with us, and I asked her about the pressure of playing at home.
Kept thinking about that question you had about that Creighton game. Was the one? Remember you brought that up? Like, hey, a couple years ago, this thing went south. Went south again.
It went south again, and it was you had number 10 seed Virginia knock off number 2 seed Iowa. It went to double overtime, 83-75 the final. And there's some people in the chat already, and just seeing some of the chatter about it. I mean, fundamentally, Iowa was just off yesterday. It couldn't shoot the ball very well. It was 50% from free throws, 17% from behind the three-point line. Just could not get anything to drop, and it was a frustrating game. I mean, they led more minutes than Virginia. They out-rebounded Virginia. I think a stat that blows me away, Ross. They out-rebounded Virginia 50-42. Of the 50 rebounds, how many were offensive rebounds? Just in your guess. Just take a guess.
28.
20, not a bad guess. They had 20 offensive rebounds.
Okay.
Iowa only had 9 second chance points. Virginia had 13 second chance points. So you not only do you get your offensive rebounds, but you're not able to put the ball back in the hoop to even make a dent. It was frustrating. And I've noticed this in the men's tournament, and I noticed it a lot yesterday. Free throws, man. What we talked about free throws last week. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was bad. So, Trav, what do you make? Well, I mean, bad shooting. The Fairleigh Dickinson one we hoped was going to be the wake up.
Yeah,
you hoped would be enough to go okay, and you this you can't let Creighton happen again. Almost lost to Fairleigh Dickinson. Got to get our poop in a group. Come back out and have another really bad performance, and really this time on both sides of the court. What did you say? Field goal shooting percentage was
36.9%, 17.2% from behind the three-point line, 5 of 29 from behind the arc, and 8 of 16 from the free throw line.
Yeah,
and missed some free throws at some key moments.
Yep.
Just some key moments. Virginia shot 44%, shot 33% from behind the three-point line, and 78% from the free throw line. So 3-pointers, free throws, the difference. Iowa got off 84 shots. 84 shots. Virginia took 63 shots. Iowa got off 84 shots.
Yeah.
Only made 31 buckets.
The last possession of regulation was a disaster. You call timeout with it's a tie game. Call timeout once you get across half court. I believe you had 7-8 seconds left. And I didn't see any semblance of an actual play. It seemed like the idea was, all right, chit chat, go get it. You had 8 seconds.
The shot was brutal.
It was bad. It was horrible. I mean, it barely got it off and contested and off balance, and that was bad. So yeah, tough loss.
You know, Frank, and I feel sorry for Hannah Stolke, who has had an incredible career at Iowa. Think about it. Her freshman and sophomore seasons, you go to the Final Four, you get to the national championship game. Now the last 2 years, you're knocked out in the second round. Frank puts this in the chat, and I think it's worth saying, and I'm going to trust his numbers here. Stolke, 8 of 22 in the 2 games from the line, and 1 of 6 yesterday. That's brutal free throw shooting. Brutal. And he brings up 2 of those could have finished it in the first overtime. You know, we asked Jan Jensen last week about what does success look like. Now, this was a successful season. I mean, they finished number 2 in the Big Ten. They were a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. But success is measured in different ways because it was not a successful NCAA tournament, right? I mean, this team was expected to go at least to the Sweet 16.
So coaches say coach stuff.
True.
Was it a successful season?
Yes and no. Can I say yes and no?
Nope. You can't.
I can't say yes and no.
You can't have both. You can't have this one both ways. Your expectations were to do better than this. Now it's been. You can find if a good coach does exactly what Jan Jensen did, and you find those successes. You go, absolutely. This season was not a failure. We got better. We built as a team. We as a program recruited really well, so the future's looking good. You can do all of that stuff. From the fans' perspective, what do we want?
We want wins.
We want to win.
We want deep runs.
Right. And losing at home when you're not supposed to, that's not winning. And that's not successful. And unfortunately in the women's game, this is the bad part, by the way, Travis, of having those home sites. Because if you'd lost this game in Toledo, hell, there were only 2,500 Hawkeye fans there last, you would have all a built-in excuses. Those fall away. You already had a game at home. The 90-degree court, you can't use it as an excuse. You got beat. And by the way, it just wasn't a good as you've rattled through some of those stats. It wasn't like it was a really good performance that you got beat. You got beat playing not your best basketball. And so for Jan Jensen and for any coach, I think that's the right answer to that question is absolutely. When I'm looking here at March, back at my season, yes, it's been successful. We're the 2 seed. We're a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. What do you people want from me? And the answer is, unfortunately, we want more. We want more. Travis just mentioned it. We're a Final Four team. That's what the expectation is. Is it fair? No. Is it true? Yeah. So I don't think many Hawkeye fans will look back on these. Do you look back on that loss against Creighton and say that was a successful season? That was a successful season because you were building towards what Caitlin Clark was doing. It was a stepping stone. Or do you look at that and go, no, man, they were a 2 seed that lost at home to a 9. Or no, they were a 1 seed that lost to a 9, right? Or was that a 2-10? I don't remember.
I think it might have been a 2-10.
Lost to Creighton in the second round. Weren't supposed to. Was it a good season?
I look at it this way, is that it's what people remember, right?
That's why I'm asking. Was that a good season?
So you finished 27-7 is a good season, right? By all accounts, record-wise, 27-7 is a good season.
Yeah.
But you're only remembered for what you do in March. That's what you're remembered for.
And this is not me bagging on Jan Jensen. This is me just trying to be honest about how I perceive what success is looked at. And try to zoom out and look at how do we look at other programs? And how do we look at programs that aren't our favorite team? And any other team, did Florida have a successful season in men's basketball?
Record-wise, yes, but did not live up to their expectation of going deep in March, and they're going to be remembered. That's the team that got beat by a 9 seed in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. Iowa's going to be remembered for, boy, they had a lot of potential, and they could have gone to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, but they got beat at home by a 10 seed in the second round of the NCAA tournament. You're remembered for what you do in March. March is the measurement of success because March is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Sure, the regular season matters because you got to get to the tournament. But once you're in the tournament and you set your stage, that's what you're remembered for. I didn't expect Iowa to go to the Final Four because I think there's a huge talent gap between the number one seeds, and I'm going to go through some of the scores in a little bit, but when you look at UConn, South Carolina, Texas, and UCLA, there's a big difference between those four and the rest of the field. It's almost like, why are we even playing this tournament? But Iowa should not have lost at home. It should not have had a close game with Fairleigh Dickinson, and maybe shouldn't have had a close game with Virginia, but did and lost in double overtime. So, yeah, you're remembered for what you do in March. You can have a great regular season record, 27-7, nothing to get upset about. But when you have expectations and are hosting the NCAA tournament, the 14,332 that were crammed into Carver Hawkeye Arena yesterday expected to walk out of the arena with a win, and they didn't. And now it's goodbye Hannah Stolke, goodbye Kylie Feuerbach, and you're left with what's next. Now they got a young group, got to keep that group together. Just like Bill Fendley said, you got to work on the retention. You got McKenna Velichko coming in. But I think we're going to be left with a lot of what ifs if this team would have been playing really good basketball at the end of the season instead of not its best basketball. You want to peak now. You don't want to peak in January. You don't want to be playing your best basketball in January. You want to be playing your best basketball now.
Nothing to add to that, Travis. I mean, that I think period on the end of the Hawkeye women's basketball season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting take here, and we welcome all takes. Not that we agree with them, but it's an interesting. Nobody will say it, but not to have a nationwide coaching search was criminal. Jan can't develop the guards, which guard the team better as the season went. Which guard on the team got better?
You're struggling, buddy. You all right?
Yeah. No. Well, I'm sitting there. I'm reading it as I'm looking at it.
I was afraid you stroked out on me in the middle of that.
No. Which guard? This is where I got confused. Which guard on the team got better as the season went on? None. And you're probably not wrong there in the fact that I don't think any guards got that much better. Chit Chat was good. She came in and gave them some help, but did she get better as the season went along? I don't know if I can answer that. But I will disagree about the nationwide coaching search. It was, and hear me out. It's kind of like, we're going to talk about Greg McDermott a little bit later on in the show because he retired yesterday. We had Greg McDermott on the show about a year ago. And I said, hey, why did you announce your retirement and hire your coach in waiting? And he went into great lengths of how college basketball is different now. You want to set your team up.
Continuity is very important.
Continuity is the most important thing in college basketball now. Familiarity. Players play for this is a people game, folks. People play for people. And you have that trust there. And so I disagree wholeheartedly with a nationwide search because if you would have brought in a coach from out of nowhere, you could have had a deflection of players and had to start all over. Jan Jensen had been with Lisa Bluter every step of the way. There was not that big of a transition between Lisa Bluter and Jan Jensen, and she was able to maintain and keep that team together. I disagree that there should have been a nationwide search. I think Jan was the right hire at the right time.
She's done fine. Upsets happened. That's what this was. And again, it's okay to put a period on it and move on. Go, okay, had a loss, had an upset, and you've recruited really well. You've got a good group coming in. Did you think you were going to win the national title this year? No. Did you think you'd get further than you did? Yeah. And I think it's okay to say the season was the season was fine. The way it's going to be remembered is as a disappointment because we went into the postseason as a 2 seed and lost at home to a team we shouldn't have. That's disappointing. Now we move on.
I think Jan would agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I think she would say, yes, it's disappointing.
Yeah. I don't think that it's time to start looking for a new coach or question the hire or things like that.
But this is what fans do. I mean, fans.
We just want more.
You want more. And Iowa women's basketball is at the place where probably more than, football's there, but when you've had the taste of the national championship game, you've had the taste of the 2 Final Fours, you go, it's like a drug. Winning is like a drug. And when you reach a certain plateau, you're like, oh, that's where we want to be all the time.
We've talked about that.
Standard.
We've talked about that a lot. I feel like we've beat that up. Yep.
So,
all right.
Yeah, disappointing game yesterday. Again, Hawks end the season 27-7. They'll be watching from home. I mentioned the number one seeds, Ross, and why they're so much different. And I just want to go into these real quickly as we've started with women's basketball, but I think it's a good place to start, is that UConn beat Syracuse 98-45. South Carolina beat USC 101-69. UCLA beat Oklahoma State 87-68. Texas beat Oregon 100-58. Those are your number one seeds. Now you go into the Sweet 16, and I don't think you can find this in the men's tournament, but this is the expected talent gap. UConn plays next. It's a 27.5-point favorite. South Carolina plays Oklahoma next, 17.5-point favorite. UCLA's next game against Minnesota, a 19.5-point favorite. Texas plays Kentucky, a 15.5-point favorite. Just so you have all those double-digit wins, and then your double-digit favorites going into your Sweet 16 matchups. I would be shocked, utterly shocked, if those four teams aren't your Final Four teams. And I'd be probably shocked if they don't win their Sweet 16 and Elite Eight games by double digits. That's the difference in talent gap in women's basketball right now.
Yep, we've seen it, Travis. The Hawkeye women were a top 10 team throughout the year. Got a couple of chances against those number one teams, and they were blown out. Didn't even compete.
Wasn't even close.
Yeah. So there's a huge talent gap there. What do you think the answer is? I mean, is there a conversation, or are you just pointing out there's a huge talent gap? We've mentioned that throughout the year, that there's an elite in the women's game that's way different than the men.
Well,
but the same thing's kind of happening in the men's, right? Where there's been a consolidation of talent.
In a way, yes, but you do, when you look at the tournament right now, you have Iowa number 9 seed, you got Nebraska number 4 seed, you've got St. John's number 5 seed, and I know they have talent. This is not sexist, and I don't want people to think this is sexist. There's just right now more better men's players across the board than there are women's players, right?
I remember when you didn't care about offending people. I remember when you didn't care.
You missed that, Trav?
I missed that, Trav. You're like, well, listen, I don't want this to come across as sexist, but there's more good basketball players that are men. No shit.
Well, I mean, across the board. I mean, so
the talent is deeper.
The talent is deeper. And, right now, UConn, Texas, South Carolina, when you're growing up, when you're playing, you're like, the goal is to play at UConn. The goal is probably to play at South Carolina for a lot of kids.
But Trav, this group of high school athletes, it was Caitlin Clark. So if that's true, then right now is the window for Iowa.
Don't disagree. I think Addie Deal was considered that. She did not have the season everybody thought. McKenna Velichko is going to come in with a lot of expectations. You're talking about, a Naismith finalist at that high school level and McDonald's All-American. She's going to have those expectations. So you're right, Ross. I think the Caitlin Clark effect helped with Addie Deal. I think it helped with McKenna Velichko. But now
you got to capitalize on it. Yeah, the ball's got to roll.
Keep rolling in that same direction. So, yeah. So will I pay attention to the women's tournament now? Probably not. That Iowa and Iowa State are gone. You're like, okay, who wins? But we're probably not going to spend much time talking more women's basketball on this show.
Promise.
Here, give me your pinky, man. Pinky swear. Pinky swear. Pinky swear.
Because I'm not going to watch. Because if you do again, I'm going to have to say, oh, man, I didn't miss it, but I didn't watch it.
And that's fair. 100% fair. Totally understand why you'd do that. And why everybody would do that. I mentioned Greg McDermott momentarily a couple minutes ago. The Creighton coach retired yesterday, or announced that he will retire after the season. They're going to play in the Crown. Greg McDermott has strong ties to the state of Iowa. He's from Iowa. He goes back to see his folks. They still got the family farm. Last time I talked to him, he makes a lot of trips to Cascade. Do you think he's really done, Ross? He's 61 years old. And I'm throwing that out there. Do you think he's really done?
Trav, that was my first response when a buddy wrote that and said, "Hey, McDermott just retired." I just instantly responded, "For now." Yep, he retired for now. Way too young, way too competitive. I think he probably you planted this seed in my head when you asked Ben Jacobson about it. I think he goes somewhere to a warm climate with great golf courses, has a couple years of doing that. He is still in his mid-60s at that point, and he looks around and goes, "Wait, I got a lot of gas in the tank. I could do that for another 10 years. Arizona State, Arizona, hell, coach in Texas, coach in Florida. There's a lot of warm places with beautiful golf courses that he could continue to make 7 figures coaching basketball. So to answer your question, no, I don't think he's done.
I asked Ben Jacobson if he'd take the Arizona State job. That's not going to happen. They hired the same. Okay. They hired the St. Mary's coach yesterday.
But I got the impression you kind of said that tongue in cheek a little, right?
No,
I mean, it was more like
that had been kind of a rumor that had been broiling because Greg owns a house in Phoenix. Okay. He sold his house in Omaha. Him and his wife live in an apartment down by the arena. So they kind of downsized here. They own a pretty big home in Phoenix. Plays a lot of golf, and a lot of people were thinking, and this had started probably about 3 months ago, that people knew that Bobby Hurley was on the hot seat. Would Greg McDermott, who was offered the Ohio State job a couple years ago, was contacted about the Indiana job last year, and he recommended Darren DeVries, would maybe be interested in that Arizona State job. Now, the guy from St. Mary's is from Arizona. He'd been at St. Mary's a long time. He's 63 years old. He got a 5-year or 6-year contract. But I'm kind of with you when it comes to McDermott. At age 61, boy, first of all, he would be great television, right? I could see him doing CBS, ESPN, Fox, something like that for TV commentating, whether that's in studio or even to be a color analyst. But these guys, they had that competitive drive. They just want to. It's hard to stay out, right? Because it's like, okay, you can only play so much golf. And then you're like, I need to draw up a play. I need to
Travis
go recruit.
said you can only play so much golf.
I know.
You can only fish so much. Yeah, because you're going to die. That's when you're done fishing, when you die. I mean, you can only do it so much. I bet you that's McDermott's thought right now is, I'll put that theory to test. Let's see if I can play too much golf. I think you're right about the competitiveness. For the money, I know that the guy's set up and he could feed every homeless person in America and still pay his bills, right? He's fine. But once you get out on that golf course, and man, I talk about Alan Watts, the philosopher. He's got this thing about then what? So you want to retire and you want to put your feet in the sand. Great. Then what? So maybe you sit there for a day and you have all the margaritas you want. Then what? Maybe it's 2 days and you've seen the sunset and you've watched the sunrise. How many days can you sit with your butt in the sand before your brain goes, I got to do something? Maybe it's a day, maybe it's 2 days, maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month. There will come a time when you'll go, then what? And maybe that's what you're talking about there, is that he'll be on the 7th green one day, tap in for his 1000th birdie, and go, what's this all about? I should get back into coaching. I felt more purpose when I was coaching.
I think felt everybody needs a purpose, though, right?
That's exactly what I'm getting at. So maybe he'll find it in sport or in TV or podcasting or golf. Dude, did you see the story? There's a documentary coming out about Ken Griffey Jr.
Photography, right?
Being a photographer. And because I knew Randy Johnson was doing that. Randy Johnson's like one of the NFL's what's the thing? Credentialed photographers.
Really? Can you imagine? There's a guy how tall is Randy Johnson? 6'10"?
Yeah, whatever he is. Randy Johnson and Ken Griffey Jr. walk by you with their media passes on. You'd be like, What?
They've got their
I'm in a
Canons or their
simulation.
Nikons.
Right, they're carrying their large cameras.
Nice lens,
discussing shutter speed with each other as they're walking past there.
Hey, unit, what f-stop you using here? I'm going 5.6. Yeah, well, I'm going all the way down to 2.4, man.
And we're watching them and we're like, oh, they're talking about Jay Buhner, and I bet they're sharing old stories about Edgar Martinez. No, they're down there. So anyway, I got this one that was backlit. If I could have just shadowed this a little better.
What type of glass you using? Mahari's jizzing right now because we're talking all about camera
or he's
stuff.
mad as hell because we just butchered nobody would have those. No photographer worth his salt would have those conversations. You idiots.
Oh, yes, they would. You know what?
Are they? Did we do okay
just
there?
As big geeks about their gear and no, everything.
I just want to be sure that we weren't calling. I just want to be sure that we weren't referring to football runs and baseball points. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I want to make sure that we weren't crossing the streams of logic with our words there.
No, you were very good with the shutter speed, and I got the f-stops down. So
white balance is white balance a thing?
You don't have to white balance a still
see
camera.
That's why I'm glad I didn't say that.
Yeah, TV camera, video camera. And today anymore, I don't even know if you have to white balance a TV camera because everybody's using a handy cam anymore. Back in the old days when I had a big old camera, you'd have to get a white balance to make sure your video wasn't blue. I don't even think you have to do that in TV anymore. Could be wrong.
Did you know this? Miles Garrett, Kyle wrote in and said Miles Garrett was a photographer for the Olympics because his girlfriend was a snowboarder.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. You talk about retirement, and people ask me all the time because I'll be 56 this year, which means I'm 9 years closer to retirement age. I say this to everybody: I will never retire, ever. I don't know if I need a purpose. I need to get up and do something every day. I really do hope that you and I are getting up and doing this in 10, 12 years, right? And
a coffee club? I'm okay with that.
I will work at Home Depot being a greeter before I just absolutely say I'm not going to do anything. I want to stay active. I want to stay alive as long as I can.
I'm keeping a clean driving record so that I can be a delivery driver for Willis Auto.
Oh, what a great job that would be.
I have a couple of buddies that I worked with at the radio station for 20 years, and they retired, and that's what they do. And I asked them, you like that? And they're like, yeah. Great people to work for, work with some fun folks, work when I want.
Would you be a shuttle driver or a delivery driver? Because you could can I take you to work?
Wouldn't I be a good shuttle driver? My God.
You would be an amazing shuttle driver because you would talk their ear off. You would find everything out about their life.
They'd tip me just to get off. That sounded bad.
Another job that I thought that I would like would be a shuttle bus driver at like the airport. You pick them up in the remote parking lots. You help them load their, and then hey, where are you going today? What are you doing in Phoenix? Let me guess, playing golf. Hence, you've got the golf clubs.
Yeah. Let me guess, you're traveling today. Oh, I'd be so corny. Oh, I'd be so dorky.
And look at it this way: you can sell real estate up until the day you die.
What you got back in that suitcase? Bricks? You going for a day or a year? Oh, I can feel it.
Ross would come back. He goes, okay, these people are from Algona. They are.
I'd have so many friends.
You would.
And then when they'd say, I'm from Algona, I go, I drove a couple from Algona last month. You don't by chance know Cheryl and Bill, do you? They live up on the corner on 1st and Clark. Do you know Cheryl and Bill? I wish I could remember their last name. He's a bridge engineer, and she was a teacher, 3rd grade.
And then they'd get, hey, we're going to be back on the 16th. Here's our flight number. Would you pick us up? Yeah, I'll be here for you,
I'll be here.
Man.
You guys look for me.
Hey, folks, make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood with Liberty Lawn and Landscape Solutions. Expert service, reliable crews, and beautiful results, whether it's mowing, cleanup, or full landscaping. Check them out at libertyLawnSolutions.com. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
With the Iowa Lottery's new Millionaire for Life game, you could win $1 million a year for life. That could make you a My Dream Job is No Job millionaire, a front row tickets to every show millionaire, a hire a personal glam squad for you and your bestie millionaire.
Yep, a little further.
Or just to never run out of your favorite pickles millionaire. With Millionaire for Life from the Iowa Lottery,
And these.
you can change your life for life. Play today.
When you work with a company like Mr. Electric that goes above and beyond and makes the customer their priority, that is just a real joy to encounter these days. It was a fairly complicated project and it was intimidating. They made it look so easy and they were very professional, very clean folks. They thoroughly explain what they're going to do. It's clear that they're experienced and that they know what they're doing. Having professionals out there that can do that for me, that gives me a lot of peace of mind.
Keep your edge with Body Armor Sports Drink. Bold flavors, electrolytes, and hydration that goes the distance. Grab Body Armor before the grind, during the game, and after the win. Body Armor Sports Drink. Hydration that's real and better for you. Pick up Body Armor Sports Drink on your next grocery store run or convenience store trip.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
My name's Gary Prosnell, and I'm a residential home mortgage banker for Northwest Bank in Des Moines Metro Market. I've been financing people's homes for over 25 years, and I'm an expert in financing VA loans, FHA loans, IFA loans, and new construction homes. This is my cat, Norm. Norm knows basketball, but he doesn't know mortgage. And that's where I come in. There are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Norms out there doing loans. So don't just trust anyone with your home loan. I'm your local, trusted, experienced expert. Please call me. I would love to help you.
Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
As winter turns to spring and the world comes alive again, one thing remains true. Potholes can really mess up your day. From busted tires to knocking your alignment out of whack, hitting a pothole can cause some serious damage. For the month of March, Willis Volvo Cars is offering 20% off pothole special. This includes tire rotate, balance, and alignment package to keep you on the road. To get scheduled, give us a call or head online at willisvolvocars.com.
Hi, it's Noel. If you're thinking about popping the question, start with a jeweler you can trust. At Fiscus Jewelers, we offer the largest inventory in Ankeny, featuring stunning engagement rings and rare and forever natural diamonds, pre-screened with advanced technology. If you don't see exactly what you're looking for, we'll custom design it together, and our CAD drawings are always free. And when it's time to say I do, don't forget the guys. We offer the largest selection of men's wedding bands around. Fiscus Jewelers, your jeweler for life.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
All right, folks, if you're done growing your family, a vasectomy might be the right next step. At Urology Center of Iowa, they offer a no-scalpel procedure designed to be simple, safe, and convenient. It's performed right here in Des Moines by specialists who focus on men's health every single day. Take control of your future with confidence. Visit iowauro.com and click to schedule an appointment. That's iowauro.com. At Urology Center of Iowa, we see you. Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Getting a lot of suggestions for your next job there, Ross. People have ideas for you.
I didn't even see.
They have ideas for you. You know, one said that you should become an Uber driver and pick people up in the Ranger. Yeah, they said you drive that Ranger around and become an Uber driver, or you're a bus driver down at Disney.
Boy, both of those, picking people up in the 1999 Ford Ranger, I could offer like a nostalgic experience. You know what I mean? I could pitch myself as like, do you want to go back in time? Sit in the suicide seats in the back of a 1999 Ford Ranger while we listen to Even Flow with the windows down. Even Flow. That's an interesting concept. Be an Uber driver in a 1999 Ford Ranger, but pitch yourself as that. It's kind of like a version of Cash Cab.
Oh, I like Cash Cab.
Okay, so what conversations would I have to have if I were offering an authentic 1999 experience?
First of all, I don't know if you could offer a 1999 experience because I believe Uber says your car has to be like 6 years. You can only go back to 2020.
My car's too shitty to be an Uber driver.
I really think that's the case.
Is there seriously you couldn't drive a classic car as an Uber?
I believe. Well, first of all, is your Ranger a classic? We have to answer that.
We got to stretch some.
If there are any Uber drivers out there, we need to know what the requirement is, because I thought I was under the impression that, because I was thinking, okay, I could be an Uber driver. Like I've got my 2014 Nissan Pathfinder. I can get 5 people in there.
Yeah, and it's a reliable car.
It's got 190,000 miles on it. Coach Hersom says you're 100% accurate. You cannot drive an old car.
I think this was the first one that came to my mind too. Tyler is, as soon as because you tell them beforehand, hey, here's the deal. I offer an authentic retro experience. You're about to go on Ross's retro ride, as somebody wrote.
Ross's retro ride.
But here's the deal. Once we step inside of this 1999 Ford Ranger, it's like a DeLorean. We are no longer in 2026. And then as soon as the doors shut, you go, man, you ready for Y2K?
I like it. Jay points out that Cash Cab was scripted. Ranger Ross is not.
Yeah, right. And somebody said, hey, just so you know, Cash Cab's 100% fake. Yeah, Irish, we actually we talked about that last week or a couple weeks ago. Thick writes in and says, classic 1999 conversation. Can you believe the Hawks are in the Sweet 16? That's a good one.
It is. Hey, the Ranger's clean. It's reliable. It can get you from point A to point B. I don't know why it could not be an Uber car.
I can pick up the family. You just throw your kids in the back. Got a dog? Throw it in the back.
I am curious about this because there's somebody out there racing for pinks. Says 25 years old is considered a classic. So can you get a classic plate for your Ranger?
Oh, my gosh.
Or is that based on the number of miles that it's driven every year, whether or not you can have a classic car license plate?
Dude, this is just like that porn and art conversation. Like, I know when I see it. What's a classic car? Listen, it's not my 1999 Ford Ranger. I mean, think if somebody was like, 25 years old. Oh, sweet. Because I've been keeping this 2001 Dodge Neon in good shape. Ready for it to be a classic.
Can you imagine? All right, up next on the Meek Auto Auction, we got a 1998 Neon, Dodge Neon. Here we go. Who gave me $1,000, $1,000, $2,000?
Original MSRP was $4,000 on this bad boy.
When the summer goes along, I want to have my friends, the Moravec's on. They are auctioneers for Meekum. Right? And Meekum's a big deal, right? But it would be interesting to say, hey, do they ever go through these and anybody pull up like a freshly just redone Neon? Or is it always a Vet, a Camaro? What's the weirdest car you've seen?
There's got to be a standard. There's got to be a standard, right? I mean,
you would think so.
If somebody had kept a 1984 Chevy Cavalier in great shape.
Shit car, by the way.
We found it in Grandpa's barn. We didn't even know it was under the tarp. We found this pristine condition, 1984, urine yellow Chevy Cavalier. Is Meekum Auction showing up and going, yeah, that's really nice.
I think we can score with this. It's funny that you just mentioned that because that's and folks, this is a rabbit hole we did not anticipate going down, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. This is popping up on my feeds a lot. Is that and the people go into barns because how many farmers in the state of Iowa, if you go into a barn, have a car that has not been touched in 20, 30, 40 years? Just
There's
been
several.
sitting there.
There's a lot. I had an uncle that passed away. My uncle Dick died when he was just before he turned 40. And he had a classic car from when he was in high school that sat under a tarp in my grandpa's barn until my cousin took it and restored it. A lot of them. But that was like a classic, 57 Chevy. Like it looked like a piece of art, The cars that we're talking about in the 80s and 90s, man.
I mean, Mustang went through a really bad period.
Remember the hatchback Mustang?
Yes.
My buddy Rob had one of those. Always had a gas situation.
You'll probably see a Pinto in a Meekum Auto Auction.
Think so?
If it's redone and classic, probably. Because there's something about the Pinto. I should bring you over here, Ross.
This is a rabbit hole I didn't know I could go down. I just Googled worst classic cars to buy.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed at what has just popped up as a classic car. Because you nailed it. A Pinto, it's a classic car. That hatchback Mustang, the Ford Mustang 2, a Chevy Vega.
There's a guy over here where I live. His name's Peter Fink. He started Certified Transmissions. Look up Peter Fink's Car Museum. These are all his personal cars. He has collected so many cars that he had to buy himself an old Shopco. Remember the Shopcos? He bought himself a Shopco to put his cars and motorcycles in.
Yeah. Jesus.
And about any type of car you can find is in there. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, that'll be a funner one. A fun summer topic. I'll get Trev Morbeck to come on before he does the Meekum Auto Auction.
So to transition to sports, because we have talked about how that auctioneering thing is a familial business. Okay, if you're an auctioneer, chances are daddy was an auctioneer. Chances are his daddy was an auctioneer, and chances are his daddy was an auctioneer.
Absolutely.
In a related note, did you see who? I want to find out who hired him. Hold on. The latest broadcaster for the St. Louis Cardinals?
No.
Stephen Carey?
Never heard of him.
You've heard of his daddy, and you've heard of his granddaddy, and you've heard of his great-granddaddy?
So is that Skip's kid?
It's Skip's kid, or Chip's kid.
Chip's kid?
Skip's grandkid. Harry's great-grandkid.
Okay.
Right? Harry, Chip, Skip.
No, Harry, Skip, then Chip.
Harry, Skip, Chip, Stephen.
Did he get the job because he's a Carey, or did he get the job because he's a really good broadcaster?
I've never heard him call play-by-play. I have no idea. I shouldn't say that. I can't answer that question. I'm just telling you that it's a Long history of play-by-play. You know, is that audio of Harry Carey getting fired on the air? Have you heard that? Is that real?
I haven't. Did he get fired by the Cardinals?
There's this
on
audio
the air?
that's out there. Got fired by the Cardinals on the air and hands it off, like literally in the middle of the inning, hands the broadcast off to Jack Buck. So I think it's a real thing where he's in the middle of calling a game. And he's like, well, I've just been handed a note that I'm not going to be back next year. Well, who fires a guy? There's a ball outside. Who fires a guy in the middle of an inning? It's wild, but it could totally be fake.
With AI today.
Because I've just heard it in the last couple of months, and it's like, well, that's weird that would pop up. And so anyway, long history of baseball play-by-play. Harry Carey, Stephen's great-grandfather. Harry Carey, Stephen's great-grandfather, got his break with the Cardinals in 1945. Called games until 1997. Harry's son was Skip Carey, who served as the Braves announcer from 67 to 08. Skip had two sons, Chip and Josh. The latter serves as the director of broadcasting for the minor league Rocket City Trash Pandas. But the play-by-play genes kept flowing. Chip has twin sons, Stephen and Chris. And it might be Stephen. It's Stefan. I think that's Stephen, but maybe it's Stephen. Who knows? We'll find out. Chris currently shares lead commentator duties for the Oakland Athletics with Jenny Kavnar. So there you go.
Eric brings up a good point. If you guys can do it, how hard can it be?
Amen, Eric. Somebody asked me the other day, I was at the Wild game on Saturday night. And Charter is like, because Charter had listened to me do play-by-play for the Wolves last week. And he's like, hey, do you think you could do play-by-play for hockey? I said, absolutely not.
It's a different beast, man.
Absolutely not. For all the other sports, play-by-play is just saying what you're seeing. It really is. It's just saying what you're seeing. You turn it into that, and it becomes very easy to do play-by-play. Color commentary is a little bit different because you've got to analyze what you've seen and then interpret it in a different way and kind of, you got to be a little bit more creative with your language. Play-by-play is pretty simple when you're doing football or baseball or basketball. Here's why hockey is way different. First of all, you have to have 1,000 different words for pass. You can't say, Justice passes it to Peterson. Peterson passes it off to Johnson. Johnson passes it. No, it's got to be scoots it on to Justice. Justice dumps it off to Peterson. Peterson slides it on to Johnson. You have to have 1,000 words for pass. And those guys have to anticipate where the puck is. They have to know where the puck is going. Not anticipate. They have to know where the play is going, and they call it ahead of time. On top of that, every name is hard to pronounce.
And that game moves faster than any game there is. Faster than any game there is. And calling play-by-play for television is different than radio.
Yeah.
In radio, you really have to paint a picture with your play-by-play. Television,
you don't have to do so much.
Yeah.
You just say the name of the person with the ball.
And scream it.
Justice! Peterson! And then when the guy shoots, you just hold it on longer. Johnson! No! And people will call you the greatest of all time.
It's funny because you mentioned Harry Carey started with the Cardinals, and I think he was with the Cardinals longer than any organization that he was with. But to a generation because of WGN, he's a Cub fan and a Bud man, right? And he was with the White Sox. People forget that Harry Carey was with the White Sox.
I'm a Cub fan and a Bud man. That's a good Harry Carey pull right there, dude.
That's going back. I'm showing. I watched a lot of WGN back in the day.
Man, he was just a caricature, wasn't he? Those glasses. All right, he worked for the St. Louis Browns in 1945 and 1946. Then he worked for the St. Louis Cardinals from 45 to 69. Nice. He worked for the Oakland A's in 70. He worked for the White Sox in 71 through 81. So he had 10 years there. And then he was with the Cubs from 82 to 97.
If I would have told you that Harry Carey retired in 1997, would you have believed that?
Yeah, it's one of the newspapers I have around here.
Really?
Yeah. When he retired, I kept the newspaper.
Speaking of the Cubs, they are getting ready, reportedly, to sign Pete Crow Armstrong to a long-term deal. A 30-30 guy a year ago, a Gold Glover. Getting him secured up for a long time is a big deal for the Cubs organization, and I would assume Cubs fans, Ross.
Yes, he's turning into the face of that franchise. Now, I don't know if he's turning into. I think he has probably is the face of that of the franchise. Seems to be the most popular player. Dynamic, fun to watch, young. They don't have the same problem they did several years ago, a decade ago, which is which one of the 9 superstars do you hold on to? And then they ended up holding on to who? Ian Happ out of all of them. He's the guy that stuck around or whatever it was. So they don't. You're not. It's not that situation. I think you hold on to this guy as long as you can. I love that they did it. Or did they? Is it? It's a done deal.
Yet,
okay.
But they're working on it. That's the report. Of course, opening night of Major League Baseball is tomorrow. You got the Giants and the Yankees. Then opening day on Thursday. All 30 teams are going to be in action on Saturday. Nothing like going head-to-head with the NCAA basketball tournament.
Trav, you got to do. I mean,
or unless you start on Monday and Tuesday, unless you would have started yesterday and today.
So I always liked it when there was a period of time when things lined up, and it's not like these things were colluding with each other, because again, it just happened this way for a period of time as the two things transitioned, as the basketball season went longer and longer, and they moved the baseball season up. About 15 years ago, there was this perfect mix where the weekend of the Final Four was also opening day weekend. And you would get like Monday night was the NCAA championship, but Sunday was opening day for Major League Baseball. It just worked out perfect for a little while. But Travis, you just you can't think of that stuff, and it is a shame that you're going up against it. I like the fact that Netflix, I see Berger has written that in the chat, Netflix is going to have opening day. So I hope that helps with the numbers for it.
With Netflix having a game, does that help or hurt Major League Baseball? I'm sure it helps, but does it make it more difficult for the fans to find games? Oh, it's on Netflix tonight.
I think it makes it easier. Am I misunderstanding this? Because I think it makes it easier just because maybe I'm wrong. How many people have Netflix?
I think a lot of people.
It seems like everybody. Everybody I know has Netflix, so everybody must have Netflix. But I don't think 300 million Americans have Netflix, do they?
So you have this year ESPN midweek games, MLB TV, NBC Peacock, Fox and Fox Sports 1, TBS continue to hold rights. Apple TV and Major League Baseball Network provide additional coverage, and then you have Netflix for the game. You're right. More exposure is good for baseball. It's just it used to be, hey, they're going to be on ESPN or they're going to be on Fox. Now it's like, okay, I'm going to have to check my local listings to make sure I know where the baseball game's going to be.
AI says 66 million subscribers in the United States for Netflix. It's great. So I've seen it every time I've opened Netflix for the last week. It's the first thing. I mean, they're pushing it.
So NBC and Peacock will return for Sunday night and afternoon games, including exclusive Sunday morning leadoff games. ESPN carries the Game of the Day package and hosts MLB TV. Netflix will debut as a major partner, broadcasting Major League Baseball at Field of Dreams game, the World Baseball Classic in Japan, and exclusive opening night game. So they have the Yankees-Giants tomorrow.
Yep.
Fox and Fox Sports 1 continue with regionalized Saturday baseball and national Saturday game. TBS will have Tuesday night games. Apple TV continues with Friday night baseball And Major League Baseball Network provides extensive live game coverage.
They're throwing a buckshot, right?
Yes.
That is a lot. That's a scatter going
That's
out
a lot.
there. Let's talk about Betty. Betty wrote this in, and she says, older people, like grandparents, don't have Netflix and love baseball. My dad would fall into that, Betty. My dad would fall into that. He's a grandparent, loves baseball, does not have Netflix, and would never. No way. But I think that's intentional. I don't think that's a misstep by baseball. I think that is baseball intentionally going after a younger audience. It's kind of like when Iowa State basketball games for several years always seemed to get slid to the ESPN app. And good basketball games. It wasn't Iowa State because they were some podunk. No, they were putting Iowa State versus really good teams on the apps because they were driving the content over there. They were forcing people. They knew, well, we'll get the people in the sticks that can't go without their basketball. We'll get them to sign up, and then we'll spread this thing out. And I think that's kind of the idea that baseball's doing with Netflix. But again, listen to what Travis said. It's a buckshot, man. They are trying to change their perception of being the black hole of sports media. And I like this idea. I like that they're pushing it. I like that they're throwing things out there. And I do think that the sad part of it is you're right. You're abandoning part of your core audience. But you have
to build a younger audience.
Yeah, you got to.
I mean, if you saw our 18 to 25 numbers, we need to start building that a little bit. I don't know how I'm ever going to be interesting to an 18 to 25-year-old, but I'll try to be.
Well, we're going to be ourselves. I mean, you're going to talk about retirement and your grandkids.
That's right. That's
to an 18-year-old, that's going to be like, holy cow, are they talking about Jacks?
Who is this geezer?
Did these guys go to a one-room schoolhouse? What happened?
I walked to school in 3 feet of snow, and we didn't cancel that day, all right? Walked uphill. True story, by the way. Is it too early to start thinking about lunch or dinner? Because we're thinking juicy burgers, crispy wings, nachos, and bacon-wrapped tater tots, all paired with one of the largest craft beer selections west of the Mississippi. Of course, we're talking about El Bait Shop. Perfect for long lunches, after-work meetups, or dinner with friends, and a flight of brews that hits the spot. So grab your crew, grab a pint, and make your next lunch or dinner stop one to remember. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd Street in downtown Des Moines. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
With the Iowa Lottery's new Millionaire for Life game, you could win $1 million a year for life. That could make you a My Dream Job is No Job-ionaire, a front row tickets to every show-yonaire, a hire a personal glam squad for you and your bestie-yonaire.
Yep, a little further.
Or just to never run out of your favorite pickles-yonaire. With Millionaire for Life from the Iowa Lottery, you can change your life for life. Play today.
At Iowa Floor Covering, we believe great floors start with great service. Whether you're looking for a plush carpet, durable LVP, timeless hardwood, stylish laminate, or beautiful tile, including custom tile showers, we'll help you find the perfect fit. No pressure, no pushy sales tactics, just honest guidance from a team that listens. DIY Weekend Warrior, we've got the products and advice to set you up for success. Iowa Floor Covering, floors you'll love from people you can trust.
More Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Start spreading the news, 'cause it's time to buy booze, and there's only one place to be. You can see all your friends, the good times never end, unless you're just loitering. It's Central City, we can make your dreams come true. No guarantee your dreams will come true. Central City, all this booze is waiting for you. Look at all this booze.
Brendan Santone here for Willis Cadillac. I'm bringing in March with some decent weather and some great deals and some 25s. We have two 25 XT5s left in stock, as well as two 25 Cadillac Lyrics available. Low APR, as well as great lease deals on all these vehicles. Come get one before they're gone. Stop in and see us over in Clive at Willis Cadillac, online at williscadillac.com, or just give us a shout.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Game on, keep your edge with Body Armor Sports Drink. Bold flavors, electrolytes, and hydration that goes the distance. Grab Body Armor before the grind, during the game, and after the win. Body Armor Sports Drink. Hydration that's real and better for you. Pick up Body Armor Sports Drink on your next grocery store run or convenience store trip.
Like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive and Willis Volvo Cars. Huge savings on remaining 2025 models with discounts up to $13,000. Start your buying journey at willisauto.com. And when you show up on the lot, make sure to say, hey, we heard about you on the Rush Radio Show with Travis and Ross. If you're listening on the audio stream with rushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. Watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave your comments in the comment section. You can also follow us on our social media channels and call the show at 515-517-2303. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. You pouring yourself some coffee there, man? Got some coffee?
Got my coffee. Got my cold coffee. Not cold coffee. It's hot coffee.
I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. I only had a cup of coffee on the weekend. I've been drinking coffee during the week, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too lazy to walk upstairs and make it. See, you have it right now. And I'm like, right now I'm at 168 steps for the day. I'm like, wow, do I really want to hit that 200 mark? It's only, come on, I just put this on this morning. So.
I'd really like to keep it under 200. If
I could stay under 200 for the morning, then I could make up some distance during the afternoon.
Yeah, I really want to try to make an effort now that the weather's going to break a little bit. I think today's going to be in the 50s, but tomorrow and Thursday are in the 70s again. I want to start walking again. I've really felt much better when I was doing stuff than when I'm not.
I don't want to give you FOMO, but your Camino group is going back next week and walking 2.5 weeks again.
I knew that. When I talked to them at, you mean Tim and Pat are going, right? Is he going with them?
Going too.
Oh, is he really? Oh, I didn't even get the invite this time. Well, it shows how much they like me then, I guess, huh?
Come on, Pat loves you. Pat loves you.
Yeah, right. No, good for them. That's awesome. That'll be fun. I knew that they were going back to walk a
different Camino.
Couple. Yeah. They're walking like to Rome or something. But
yeah. So they asked me if I want to go. I said no, really don't want to go. I love you all, but 2.5 weeks. That's a long time to be walking.
Time though.
Yeah. I'll walk sometime. I'll make the trek at some point. But my wife actually has talked about doing it with me, and I'm like that could be a good.
That'd be fun.
Husband-wife thing.
Yep. The couple that I met out of California.
See how he remembers all this, folks? This is why he would be a good shuttle bus driver. This is why he would be a great shuttle bus driver.
That was Jared and Bethany. Jared is a sheriff in California.
I can't remember somebody I met 4 minutes ago. I can't remember their names. I'll never forget their face, but I can't remember their names. I don't know how you do it.
Mendocino County Sheriff. Mendocino County in Northern California. So anyway, met them, that was, they would say, do it. They walked as a couple, and they said when they got done, their marriage was stronger than ever before. I mean, again, 3 weeks of walking side by side with somebody, you're either going to like them or hate them.
So
I liked most of the people I met.
So I set the stage yesterday. Of course, it's a big week in the NCAA Tournament. Sweet 16 starts on Thursday. Games will also be played Friday. Iowa's going to be in action on Thursday. They play Nebraska. And I talked about it, and Captain Kirk sent this to me last night. And but I kind of set the stage of how people in Nebraska are freaking out about playing Iowa. It's a mental game, right? Is that when Iowa dominates you in football, when they beat you in baseball, when they beat you in every sport but volleyball, it starts to become a mental block. Now, there was a radio show in Lincoln. The station is called The Ticket. And this kind of validates what I said yesterday. Give me 2 minutes, Ross. This is a clip from their show yesterday.
Okay.
And them talking about the showdown with Iowa in the Sweet 16.
Space because
Jake was bad last
why?
night.
Why?
Here's why.
Why?
We all know that this freaking state, rightfully so, hates Iowa because they beat Nebraska in everything. In wrestling, baseball, everything besides volleyball, essentially, they beat Nebraska in. And now we got to live in this world where we have our dream season. We monkeys off the back. Nebraska's won their first game. They won a second game. They're going to the second weekend for the first time ever. And in your damn way, is the bleeping Iowa Hawkeyes, gold and black and miserable, right there. And they're a 9 seed, you're a 4 seed, you're favored to win, and there's like, oh yeah, another chance to just spoil those jerks to our west, just make them hate us even more. And this would go to the top. Of all the things that they beat us in, they'd say, "Oh yeah, the time that in our first year of Ben McCollum, we beat Nebraska in the dream season." Feather in our cap forever. If you face Florida,
you just said why, but
if you face Florida, I can say, you know what, we can win the game. I can accept a loss. It's a 1 seed, defending champs. I'm having a hard time looking myself in the mirror and
even
accepting
thinking about losing,
because
Jake.
losing is a possible thing. The idea of losing in the Sweet 16 to 9 seed Iowa, and I don't think you understand. I can take a loss to Florida because they're a 1 seed.
No, I get that.
I can't take a loss to Iowa the Sweet 16.
When you say stress-free, it's almost like you're saying you expected a loss and you're okay with it.
I don't expect to lose, but
I don't like that. I don't like that.
But I walk away
you
saying,
expect a loss to Florida and you're okay with it.
I understand a
No,
loss.
He's
right on this one.
But I agree with Bill. Don't think about the possibility of losing. Think about beating Iowa.
And to beat them, to go to the Elite
Think
Eight,
about beating Iowa.
that'd be pretty cool.
We're in their head, man. We are in their head. In their head. I told you yesterday, Ross. I mean, it's like they would have rather played Florida than Iowa. You would rather play a number 1 seed than to play a number 9 seed.
Because if you lose, it just feels better.
There's some mental gymnastics with that, though.
I think that if those roles were reversed, who would that be for the Hawkeyes? We've been lucky enough that,
Penn State in wrestling is about it.
Right now, being a Hawkeye fan against Nebraska feels like in the 90s being a Yankees fan against a Red Sox fan. It's like, oh yeah, a long time ago you guys were great. A long time ago you had Babe Ruth. The Yankees are we beat you all the time. And again, that's probably a weird thing, and I don't want it to seem like to compare the Hawkeyes to the Yankees in the 90s and one of the great sports dynasties, but I just mean that thing of like, well, yeah, we do beat Nebraska. We do beat Nebraska all the time. And when I see Nebraska, I don't look at it and go, oh, Nebraska. I look at it and go, Nebraska.
Hold on to that thought because I want to come back to it, but we do have a phone call at 515-517-2303. Derek down in New Sharon. What's going on there, Derek?
Oh, boy.
Oh, fellas, I told you I was taking down Florida. Nobody listens to the Blue Yummy Garage Sports Bucket.
He did. He did call it.
The finals. Dang right, I'm gonna start charging that. Like I'll give away one pick and charge you $19.95 for the other 4. I'm gonna think I'll retire today. I don't know. We're favored Tennessee. We get by that one. We can't beat Michigan without the big boys. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, but if you get the Elite Eight, that's you've lived up to expectations.
A hell of a good season.
That's a hell of a good season.
Yeah, I know, but there's always the what if. Kind of like when Niang broke his foot. What if?
Yeah.
But that's something you can't control. Boy, that's got who are the Huskers going to take down the Hawks, or the Hawks going to win? I got the Hawks all the way. I got it. 66-63. Mark it down, fellas.
If the game's in the 60s, Iowa wins.
Yes.
I would even say if the game's in the low 70s, Iowa wins. This is about controlling the pace. Nebraska's going to want to score points. They're going to be in the 80s. If they get up that high, Nebraska wins. If Iowa can do what it did against Florida, control the pace, control the clock, Iowa wins. These two teams are pretty even. I mean, Iowa won the first game. They went to overtime in the second game. There's not a big difference between 4 and 9 here.
Old Freddie got him a fan base. I'll give him that. He's going to start getting some NIL money flowing in there.
That'll be interesting to see what happens. But well, Derek, I know the Iowa State plays on Friday, so you're going to be jazzed up and ready to go.
Yeah, 9:30 at night. Boy, I'm going to be watching that. I'm going to see 2 games at once.
I was going to say, you're going to be 3 sheets to the wind by then.
I'm going to see 2 games at once.
I'm going to have to tape it so I can watch it in the morning so I can remember what happened. Oh, jeez. All right. You fellas have a good day.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Is he becoming an Iowa fan?
No. What? What?
He's just had, so he's being sarcastic in what he's saying about Iowa?
I mean, he did say last week, he did call in and say, I was going to beat Florida, bud. And I did think that was being sarcastic. But when you say that, it happens, and you can go back and go, hey, I called it. And then what do you say? Hey, we're going to meet each other in the national championship.
You brought up a good point with the Yankees-Red Sox analogy. And it's not like we follow teams and rivalries all over the place, but this is a weird dynamic with Nebraska and Iowa. And it really goes to football, right? The dominance that Iowa's had in football and the perceived blue blood status Nebraska thinks it has. Can you think of another fan base or another team gets into the mindset of a fan base like we've got in? I mean, it is psychological warfare at this point.
Yes, you have told me this so many times. I believe it to be true. It's different in the South. And Auburn and Alabama, the dude that poisoned the trees on Toomer's Corner, and his response was when they caught him, I just got too much Bama in me. That's really what the guy said. I got too much Bama in me. That's a little bit different than going on a podcast and going, man, I hate it. I hate losing to this team. It's so, yeah, there are fan bases where this is.
Well, I guess I didn't explain it very well. So I know that's hate. You're right. The hate exists. And I do believe Nebraska, but to where they feel, oh my God, we got to play Iowa, and they've had our number every single time, and they're going to be the spoiler again. We get to where we want to be. It's the greatest season we ever had, and who's going to spoil it? May not have known it could have gone forever. I could have handled losing to Florida because they're the defending national champions or the number 1 seed. I can't handle losing to Iowa because Iowa's ruined my football season. They've ruined my wrestling season.
Yeah.
They've ruined my baseball season.
On a way different level, I've seen that with Grandview. When Grandview started to win in football and they were winning everything in wrestling, people hated them. You'd show up on campus and go, Grandview's here. What do they hate? The winning. The fact that you show up and kick their ass all the time. Trav, that's a good question. It is. I'm glad that it's in this situation. Sure, every advantage we can have going into Thursday. Every advantage.
And the mental advantage is part of it.
I do find the irony of this being, like we talked about, I do find I'm interesting to hear from Derek. I'm curious to hear how Cyclone fans are feeling. I would imagine most of them are rooting for Nebraska because you've still got a soft spot for Fred. They've kind of, all season long, most of us have been like, look at Fred, finally doing it. Way to go. Run up against the Hawks, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, that was cute. Now it's over. Time to put this one to bed.
I never thought of what you just said. That
awesome drama.
That you think most Iowa State fans are rooting for Nebraska.
I think they are, but maybe I'm wrong. Because first of all, you have a hell of a hard time rooting for the Hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a hell of a hard time rooting for the Hawks. And second of all, you've got the mayor. You've got your guy that you've had a heart connection attached to for 30 years. You've always kind of had a soft spot for Freddie and the family. And, look, come on, Fred, we're rooting for you. Ames kid. So I think that I would imagine most Iowa State fans are going to be rooting for Fred, but Timmy writes it. Timmy's right. Iowa State fans hate Nebraska. And maybe that's what Derek was coming from. Honestly, maybe Derek's thing is I hate Nebraska way more than I hate Iowa. I'm
just curious, where does Iowa, and I get the old Big 8 days and I get the Big 12 days, but where does Iowa State fans, and I've been around this a long time, I don't understand the Iowa State hate for Nebraska because they also hate Texas. It's like, or has it always been, the small man syndrome? Anybody who's always better than us, we're going to hate.
No, I think I'm speaking for Iowa State fans, but I've been in Central Iowa my whole life. I think it's the way that those fan bases treated Iowa State. Iowa State was bad at football for a long time. They don't just hate Baylor and Oklahoma State and all the. No, you hate those two specific fan bases because they were the rude ones. They were the ones that came in and not only beat you, but they rubbed your face in it. They reminded you all the time that you were the little brother in the doormat. And even when Iowa State started to make a come up. And then it was almost like they bailed out of the league before they could actually see the Iowa State that Iowa State is today. So I think that that's what it is more than they just lost. I think it is the way that those two fan bases specifically show up in your town, take over your town. Travis, you saw that in the 90s.
Oh, absolutely.
Those two when they showed up, they dominated. And then they let you know about it.
Dude, I was in South Bend, Indiana for the Nebraska Notre Dame game. I think it was 2001. And this is when Notre Dame finally said, if you're a season ticket holder, you can't resell your ticket. Half the crowd was Nebraska, and they let you know about it. Look at Oklahoma State over the weekend. Andy Katz, who has been covering college basketball for a long time, said he's been to 30 NCAA tournaments and has never seen anything like he saw in Oklahoma City. That it just changed the entire atmosphere. So when you bring up a good point, when you go to somebody's place and take it over, that rubs it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we get that you're going to travel, but you just took over our town.
Yeah.
You made it look like it was.
And I think you can even do it in a respectful way. I've been around some really nice Nebraska fans that were awesome, but you hear these stories of like, yeah, and then these dicks were walking past our tailgate and started a fight. And when you wear those colors, man, you represent way more than just you.
You do.
Betty writes in, says, Cyclone fan, go Hawks. Never root for Nebraska.
I look at it this way, because I want Iowa State to win. My wife's an Iowa State grad. It's for the betterment of the state if both your teams win.
Yeah. But Travis, I do think that you and I we're in that kind of middle ground like exists in politics. There's people that are left of center, there's people that are right of center, and then there's the extremes. You and I are Hawkeye fans that don't hate Iowa State. There are Iowa State fans that don't hate Iowa. But then there's the extremes. And there's a whole spectrum in between.
And the extremes tend to be the loudest.
Yeah. Ross, not Peterson, with a tornado, it looks like, in the background of his profile picture. It says 77-14. That's why I hate Nebraska.
What year was that?
I have no idea.
That might have been like all of the early 90s.
So Coach Hersom, as everybody knows, is a big Cyclone fan. He says, the mental gymnastics I have to go through on this one is almost mind-numbing. Want to root for Fred. Want to root for the kid I had in my class. That's Ben McCollum, by the way. Come on, Coach. You got to root for Ben McCollum. You know him.
He was in your class. You were emotional. You were in tears yesterday, Coach.
You're going to look that young man in the eye. I want you to think about that that 9-year-old boy, or however old he was. I want you to think about him and think about rooting against him. Think about going right up to his face at conferences and going, I hope you lose. Do you want to do that, Coach? You're better than that. Go Hawks.
No, you want to walk up to him and go, McCollum, I always knew you had it in you, son.
Good job, kid.
Good job. Go make me proud.
Don't you feel like Mickey from Rocky now, Coach?
Yeah, I don't think there's...
That's not Peterson says, but have you ever looked in Fred's eyes?
They're mesmerizing.
Captivating. 66-63 is the official prediction from the Blue Yummy Garage.
That's an Iowa win.
That's an Iowa win. 66-63. I like that.
Of course, Fred Hoiberg was speaking yesterday. I know Nebraska, I think, is leaving for Houston today. I wonder if Iowa's leaving at the same time. So you get down there on Wednesday, get down there Tuesday, sleep down there, practice on Wednesday, got the game. He was impressed with Iowa's win over Florida, and one aspect of the game really stuck out to Fred.
Listen, you get more offensive rebounds than Florida. That is impressive. You know, they out-rebound Clemson by 15, and you know, what they did last night on the glass was just absolutely incredible with that team, with what Florida does with their size and physicality. So again, they're playing the best basketball they have all year, and we're gonna have to play our best game of the season.
Do you agree with Iowa playing its best basketball? I do.
Absolutely. And like I said, Trav, yesterday, I think, or maybe I said this to you over the weekend when we knew that the Hawkeyes were going to play Nebraska. This is a different Hawkeye team than has played Nebraska. And rebounding specifically has been that thing. I think it was Banks or I heard one of the guys in a post-game interview say they have been beating us up the last couple of weeks about rebounding specifically. Attacking the boards is the one thing we had to get better at in order to compete with these teams. And Fred has seen it. The stats show bear it out. It has worked to put an emphasis on it, whatever that looks like. Now, the fact that they're seeing that same thing, the chess game is afoot here, right? You're going to start preparing for this new Iowa team, and Iowa's going to have to make some adjustments to be better than they were against Florida. I completely agree with him. They are playing their best basketball. Travis, they could not have won that game with Bennett Sturt scoring. What did he score? 13 or 16? Yeah, there's no way that team beats Florida at any other point in the season with that stat line from Bennett Sturts, unless you've got the rest of these guys playing with that level on both ends of the court again. It's a lot like we talked about with Iowa State and what TJ's got going with 5 guys on the court that play team basketball on both ends. Hawkeyes are doing that better right now than they have all year.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get to a point where Bennett Sturts doesn't have to score 20, if he can score 13, and you have everybody, and I think that's what Fred means is, and I'm putting words in his mouth, but playing their best basketball means you've got all 5 guys on the court who are contributing. It's just not one guy. And then everything can go through Bennett Sturts.
5 guys that understand what you're doing defensively. 5 guys that understand that offensively we're going to wear the team down. We're going to move the ball quickly. And we're going to get a shot off with 3 seconds left on the shot clock. If you're wide open with 10 seconds on the shot clock, pass. That takes discipline. It's again, that thing that Ben McCollum said in the postgame. If you're tough this is the place for you. If you think about yourself too much, this ain't the place for you.
But at least you know where the parameters are. And I guarantee there are some guys like, well, that's probably not a place for me. And as long as you recognize that, and I will recognize it, go on your own way. We got one more from Fred. This is about the matchup and the familiarity between the two teams.
There's a lot you can learn from those games, both of them. And, it's all about making the necessary adjustments and trying to go out there and execute your game plan to the best of your abilities. And, again, this team, they're really hot. They're a hot team, and I was so impressed with their NCAA games, with the way that they went out there and played and executed and, just played really flawless basketball. So we're going to have to be on point. And, listen, our first 2 games were highly, highly competitive, emotional games, and it's going to be like that again on Thursday.
I'm glad he recognized the emotion that went in. Let's not forget, Fred got in a guy's face after the game, and the student comes down and put a phone in his face.
Again, a kid got in Fred's face, but again, that's a deadly device to Fred. I think that one of the true stories of the last couple of years is how he's been able to avoid cell phones all this time. Sorry.
But they were competitive games. Really, 2 of the best games we watched this year were the Nebraska games. One, because Iowa beat a top 10 team, and Iowa was down double digits, I believe it was about 5 minutes ago in Lincoln, came back to force overtime. That's why this game, there's a lot of good games in the Sweet 16. This might be one of the better games.
Ross, not Peterson. Fred's been around a while. Has there ever been a scandal or a misstep that we can not that we're looking for it or diving for it, but no. I mean, if I want to be a real shithead against Fred, I would say, man, he kind of lied to Iowa State when he said, I want to get out of college coaching because I can't do the recruiting thing anymore. Well, then the NBA thing didn't work out and he was right back at Nebraska. And then when he went to Nebraska, it was like, oh yeah, this is where my grandpa was. I always want to. No, dude, you can't be the mayor.
That's political spin, though, right? I mean,
it is. So it's okay to call political spin. And if that is your big misstep, in 30 years of being in the limelight, damn, dude, damn. That, and again, not even a lie, like fake Bob Vanderplot say coaches lie. That's just political maneuvering there to say those things. He's a very respectable guy. He's very likable. I'm a Fred fan, and he's never been a coach or a player on any of my favorite teams. In fact, the teams I usually root against. But I like him.
Yeah, what he couldn't say, he had the family connections in Nebraska. What he couldn't say is, well, I wasn't very good with the Bulls. No other NBA team would hire me. And I still want to coach. This is my next best opportunity.
And I think the Bulls thing comes with an asterisk. Yeah, where you look at it and go, handcuffed. Yeah, exactly. Heck of a career. I'm glad to see him have success at Nebraska and turn that thing around and build something there. I'm ready for that to be over. For the 2025-26 run, good job, Fred. Good luck on the recruiting trail. We got an Elite 8 game to win.
Do you want a $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery? Well, the Rush Radio Show is a place to get that $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery. This week's prize includes Diamond Dollars, Lucky Clover crossword, and free play coupons for the new national draw game, Millionaire for Life. You can call the show on Friday at 515-517-2303, or you can start getting your weekly woohoos in now by going to therushradio.com. Click on the promo tab, and you'll see woohoo. Just click that, enter what your weekly woohoo is, and you could be a winner. Last week's winner came from the website. You could be the next winner of a $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery. And, of course, become an Iowa Lottery VIP to even get another chance to win with its second chance promotions. If you're not a VIP club member, join today at iowalottery.com/VIP. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Game on, keep your edge with Body Armor Sports Drink. Bold flavors, electrolytes, and hydration that goes the distance. Grab Body Armor before the grind, during the game, and after the win. Body Armor Sports Drink. Hydration that's real and better for you. Pick up Body Armor Sports Drink on your next grocery store run or convenience store trip.
With the Iowa Lottery's new Millionaire for Life game, you could win $1 million a year for life. That could make you a My Dream Job is No Job millionaire. Front row tickets to every show millionaire. Hire a personal glam squad for you and your bestie millionaire.
Yep, a little further.
Or just to never run out of your favorite pickles millionaire. With Millionaire for Life from the Iowa Lottery,
And these.
you can change your life for life. Play today.
Here at Willis Infinity, we love spring. Flowers blooming, birds chirping, and potholes. Wait, we don't love potholes. Hitting potholes can cause all sorts of alignment issues and tire damage. For the month of March, we're offering a pothole special that includes 20% off mountain balance, rotate, and alignment. Schedule your appointment online at willisinfinity.com or stop in today.
Hey, Tanner with Liberty Lawn and Landscape here. It may be chilly now, but before you know it, spring will be here. We are now booking for spring, so get a hold of us to schedule your next project today. Serving the Des Moines Metro, we specialize in a variety of services such as retaining walls, paver patios, edging and rocking, and much more. Now offering 3D renderings to show you exactly how your project will look before beginning. Liberty is proudly veteran-owned and ready to serve you today.
Hi, it's Noel. At Fiscus Jewelers, we're honored by the fact that our customers continue to come back on purpose, and that trust means everything to us. For years, we've been privileged to be a part of life's most meaningful moments, and we never take that responsibility lightly. We proudly offer the largest inventory in Ankeny, cutting-edge custom designs, including free CAD drawings, and a team that takes the time to get it right. Thank you for choosing us year after year. Fiscus Jewelers, your jeweler for life.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
Hi, I'm Tom, owner of Central City Liquors. Our customers love us because we offer a large selection at an affordable price. And to keep costs low for you, we don't splurge on fancy promotions and expensive equipment. This commercial is being shot on a phone taped to a stick. Anyway, we are proud to announce our new rewards program that allows customers to save more the more they buy. Whoop. So don't spend more to pay for fancy commercials. Save at Central City, where we know what's important. I told you we should have used duct tape.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager here at Mini of Des Moines. It's pothole season, which is why now we're offering a 20% discount when you purchase a tire rotation, balance, and alignment. Please give us a call or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com to set your appointment.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
If you're in the market for a new house, it starts with getting pre-approved for a loan. And you're going to get pre-approved with Gary Presnall, a mortgage banker with Northwest Bank, financing residential homes the past 25 years. He offers VA, FHA, and IFA first-time buyer loans and conventional and new construction loans, and all approvals are done locally by Northwest Bank. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less. It can happen after hours during the week or even on the weekends. You want a trusted local mortgage professional to take care of your biggest purchase, and Gary's the man to call at 515-975-6767. Then when you get your pre-approval letter and you're all set up with Gary, you're going to call Ross Peterson and say, Ross, I need a house.
If you call me first, that's the first thing I'm gonna do is say, hey, we got to chat with Gary. Got to figure out where your budget is. So It's the first call. It's an easy call. It takes, like you said, a half hour. I've witnessed everything that Travis says there in that Gary Reed. 24 hours a day, weekends. Yep, he's the real deal. So love it.
How is the real estate market these days?
It's starting to heat up, man. It's with the weather, Travis. It's very strange how that works. You know, you get the sun pops out tomorrow. It's going to be a couple of days of 70 degrees. People will be moving around and looking at places. So yeah, heating up, man. That's for sure. Getting fun.
One of our favorite subjects to talk about on the show is money. We like talking about money, not how much money we make, because it's not very much, but
because we don't make much.
Yeah, it is. It's about money in college sports. And Mick Cronin, your favorite coach, Ross, Mick Cronin, has come out and said he needs $5 million. $5 million is going to make UCLA a competitor and get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. Said this at his post-game press conference after they were beat the other day. He kind of ignored the question, then he came back and said, $5 million. There's your answer. I need $5 million to retain players. And he believed, this is the big farce about the House settlement and what we're going through is this alleged $20.5 million revenue share salary cap. But we know there's opportunity above and beyond from a name, image, and likeness to where, okay, well, we can pay you this out of the revenue share, but we'll find another $2 million for you. We'll find another $3 million for you. That's all supposed to go through, the clearinghouse. But here's a coach putting a dollar figure. And by the way, money doesn't guarantee anything. Indiana spent like $32 million this year. Darren DeVries didn't get to the NCAA tournament. You have probably Florida that spent more money than Iowa. It doesn't mean you get to the NCAA tournament. It doesn't mean you advance any farther than anybody else. It still takes coaching. It still takes culture. It still takes guys that buy into a system. But, saying, if you're UCLA and you say, if we get you $5 million, does this mean you're going to get to the Sweet 16? Here's your $5 million. If you don't do it, will you sign a piece of paper that says, hey, here's $5 million more for NIL, but if you don't get to the Sweet 16, we don't owe you a buyout if we fire you. You're probably not going to sign that deal. Am I being no? That's extreme.
Is it?
But is it?
It's following the logical path. Is it a few steps down the road? Yeah, but is it extreme? I don't think it's crazy. I was thinking the other day, Trav, about market bubbles. How the thought got started in my head was our buddy Mark Charter. I don't want to give too much away here. By the way, happy birthday to his son Seton today. But Mark reached out to one of our buddies and was like, hey, I'm thinking about a birthday gift for my son. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, by the way, Seton, a really good team player in wheelchair basketball, understands his role, doesn't try to do too much.
Seton was a ball. I forgot we got him into the game and he played.
Seton's a baller. Seton didn't try to become the show. Seton didn't go out there and take bad shots. Didn't have to yell at that kid. Didn't have to put him to the bench. Sorry. Go ahead.
Those, by the way, are all things that Travis did to Eli's buddy, who he doesn't know.
What are you doing?
It's amazing. But Mark had reached out to... You lost a tooth? No way.
Oh, we lost a tooth. I lost a tooth, too.
You lost a tooth, too?
Yeah, but it was pulled by the dentist. It didn't come out naturally.
Look at that. Right there it is. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at her with her nails painted and everything.
Oh, wow.
All right.
But Mark was talking about what?
So he's about getting a gift for his son. And he reached out to our buddy at our buddy at JCD and Hobby, Jason. And it got me thinking about bubbles, about how, Jason, this really cool world where as markets fluctuate, so like as the Star Wars bubble, as the market on Star Wars figures goes down, the people in that world are going to just it's G.I. Joe starts to pick up, or Pokemon becomes big again, or Magic, you know what I mean? Like there's always something to kind of move to in a market like that, right? And I was wondering as you were saying this, I'm like, God, man, there's no return on the investment. Mick Cronin going out and saying, give me $5 million. Arizona State's football coach standing up and saying, I'll make you the most famous guy in town. Give me $20 million, $25 million. I'll make you the most famous guy in town. My head goes, well, there's no return on that investment.
Zero.
You're pushing on a bubble. I thought, give me a second here. My first thought was you're pushing on a bubble that's going to burst. Because, yeah, Mick Cronin, $5 million, one for this year. Because 20 or 12 months from now, he's going to ask for $8 million. And 2 years from now, he's going to need $10 million. And eventually, they're going to run out of people. No, they're not, Travis. Because what are they playing on here? They're playing on something that is an infinite commodity. Ego. They're playing to ego. And there's always ego. There's always somebody who wants to be the big dog. There's always a crumble cookie guy.
And believe it or not, the return on investment is not monetary. The return on investment for a lot of these guys that have money that will give $5 million or $1 million or whatever that number figure may be is not a monetary return at 10 to 15%. It is, oh, I get to hang out with Mick Cronin. Oh, if they go to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, or the Final Four, I'm the reason that happened because my money made that happen, and that brings me satisfaction, and that boosts my ego up even more. That's the return.
I don't know why it's taking me this long. I don't know why it's taking me this long for my brain to kind of put that dot together of like, because I kept thinking this bubble's going to burst. How are coaches continuing to get salaries bigger and bigger and bigger? Everybody's complaining about not having money. Everybody's got their hand out and everything gets bigger. It's going to burst at some point. No, it's not. Because this bubble is not fed by any sort of market. This bubble is fed by ego, and that's an unlimited commodity. You just got to find the latest one. You got to find the latest crumble cookie guy. Who like, because we all do this. When you're making money, what do you think? I'm going to make money forever. I made $1 billion last year. Well, I'll probably make $1.5 billion next year. So I might as well start shoveling money so that I can get that. I can fill that hole in my life that the money's not filling. Only one.
So do you think when Elon Musk offered to pay the salaries of current TSA employees, that was an ego, or was he doing that out of generosity? Because I think it's a little ego.
Can it be? Yeah, right. Again, and Travis, for these guys that these universities are begging to, can't you sell both?
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask me why is Elon Musk doing it, man, it's hard to guess motives, but can't you step back and say, I think it's a little bit of both. Maybe he wants to be a nice guy and help out and step in and do what he thinks is the right thing. But is he also doing it so that people will say, man, look at how great of a guy Elon Musk is? Because couldn't you do it privately? Couldn't you do it secretly? Again, it doesn't mean that he's not doing it to be a good guy. Can it be both?
Sure. The answer to your question is yes.
Berger says, if what you're saying is true, Ross, college athletics are doomed. Well, I think they're doomed in the way that what we experienced as kids is gone.
That's already gone.
Yes.
When you have a coach on a dais, I never thought I would see the day. And even when you, Ross, were saying pay the players, you never once thought you would see a coach saying, what do you need? $5 million. That never crossed your mind.
Never. I really thought I was so naive. I've been wrong about. I was thinking about this last night as I was laying in bed too, man. I've been wrong so often that I question whether I should believe the things I believe. Like remember I was talking about my brother's YouTube channel, Brad's Bad Bets, where he's like, I'm such a bad better that I'm going to tell you my bets. You fade me and you'll win. Don't even have to think about it. Just do the opposite of me and you'll win. I've done that with so many things in my life that I've started to think maybe I should just start fading my decisions. Whenever I'm thinking, just go the other way.
Didn't George Costanza do that in Seinfeld? Like, just do the exact opposite of George Costanza?
Yeah. I got a Costanza reference for you and a story coming up, too. I got a fun rabbit hole for you to end the show today.
You were wrong, but you were right at the same time. Meaning you were early on pay the players. You were early on this NIL thing. What you were wrong on is how big of a monster this really was. You were always saying college athletics was a behemoth billion-dollar machine. I don't think you understood, and I didn't understand, of just how big it was.
That was my thing of like, well, we're going to find out how much these guys are worth. You want to know what a starting quarterback at Duke University should get? Because 20 years ago, we all would have said, what's that, a $15,000 a year job? No, it's like $2 million.
And I think and worth is being determined by the position. It's not being determined by an actual person.
By true value. Right. What got me thinking about how wrong I was about this, Trav, was our conversation with Coach Fennelly. And maybe next time we have Coach Jensen on, we should talk to her about that. As it kind of because maybe the offseason is actually a better time to have that conversation of going, hey, explain to us what this Wild West is like right now, even in the women's basketball game. Because we all think football first, and now obviously men's college basketball's front of mind. But that was my eye-opener when Coach Fennelly, the week of an NCAA tournament, is saying, hey, I'm getting phone calls from agents. Shit. We are lost. And I'd heard that from the minute this got started. The people that you have as those connections, the people that we have that are coaches or behind the scenes with these programs, were all saying to us, holy cow, it's wild.
And by the way, we probably know just a fraction.
2%. Man.
And this is at every sport. I guarantee it happens in softball, probably happens in swimming, not to the level that it is in football. I might reach out to him. This might be a touchy subject. He may not want to talk about it, but I've become pretty good friends with McKenna Velichko's father, he's like the assistant commissioner for the West Coast Conference, right? But they had to go through this when she was coming down. She didn't make her decision solely based on NIL. Because I know for a fact, because he told me, and I hope I'm not giving to it, that Iowa was not the highest NIL package that she received. Now, she got a nice package, but it wasn't the best. So she made her decision based on something else. But how do you as a parent handle this, and how involved is the university? How involved is I'm going to reach out to him after the show and say, hey, would you be interested in joining us live? You have to get.
And we could also our guy that we had on that talks about recruiting and the financials of college sports, Trav, that you got for us, the YouTube guy. Darn it. I watched this video. Mondillo. Thank you. I almost said Murillo. Mondillo. He'd be a good one to bring in too.
Murillo's a guitarist, right? Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, that's who that is. I was going to wear my Rage shirt today. Mr. T. Julius. Mr. T. He was a great character. NIL has made more teams relevant. You're both right. Nobody understood how much money some people were willing to spend to keep their team in the mix. Look at Vanderbilt. Mr. T, that's one of the things I've been saying for a long time is we still don't understand where the money is. There's still these sleeping dragons out there.
But I think what we have found out is that when you look at an Indiana football, a Vanderbilt football and basketball, and you could use some other schools as an example, that there were teams that played by the rules. Yeah. And once the rules allowed what we're seeing, it opened a floodgate of opportunity.
This is why, again, to beat a dead horse, the Saban and remember Nick Saban standing up in front of Congress going, don't change this. I'll win too much. And I said then, he's lying. He's lying. He wouldn't be there telling them not to change it if he thought it was going to help him. So I think that one of the things I'm realizing right now I'm probably wrong on is I thought that this college sports thing was a bubble, but bubbles are built on true financial markets and supply and demand, and the supply of ego and money is nearly unlimited. We haven't even come close to reaching the end of it. So a lot more room left in that bubble.
There is an endless supply of ego.
All right, can I do two rabbit holes? Because one I wrote down, I forgot to look down at my notes. When you were showing the Fred Hoiberg thing.
Yeah.
And again, I love the Hoiberg clips. Thank you for playing those. Sorry, a couple minutes left. You're all going to get to experience what goes on inside this crazy noggin. Did you see the little sign behind him?
Hold on.
Okay.
I'll throw it up for like.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can learn from.
Buckle up, phone down.
Buckle up, phone down. What's the advantage to the university of having a state-sponsored PSA?
The state's giving them money.
Just curious. I want to talk.
If you want the answer, the state is paying a state institution money to have that up there.
So to be clear, tax dollars were used to put a sign up to tell people to buy advertising space at a state university. There's something happening there. I saw that buckle up, phone down, and I was like, wait, that doesn't belong there. Something maneuvered to have that sign right there. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's what happens.
You see what, but see, they're just glad you noticed it. They're glad you noticed it like a interstate sign that's lit up.
Damn right I did. Trav, when you were in high school and you were the starting quarterback at Tri-Center Neola, do you remember by chance, did you guys do that thing when you handed out the little piece of paper that had the roster on it and it had the heights and weights next to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you like, starting quarterback, Travis Justice, 6'3", 210?
No, I was always 5'11", 165.
Were you really?
Yeah.
It was you guys used legitimate measurements for that?
At least they did for me. Because I always looked at the program. I always liked seeing my name in the program.
And you wanted it to be legit.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a kind of a running joke that's been a thing that happens in media guides.
Well, Diego Pavia is a classic example.
Great example. Great transition to this story, because Diego Pavia was one that when he went to go to the combine, right? Or he went to go to the draft.
You're not 6 foot. You're like 5'7.5".
Yes.
And I was 5'11.5". I could have rounded up to 6 foot, but I was always 5'11".
MLB is going to the ABS system, right? Going to have the automatic balls and strikes. Well, part of the ABS system, Trav, is you have to have a precise measurement on height, because it's all based on a percentage of your total height. In fact, Travis, there's even the baseball players have to be measured between a specific time frame in the day, because as you know, when you as the day goes on, you shrink. We as you sleep, your spine expands. As you stand up, your spine compresses. And as the day goes on, we actually do shrink. So every Major League Baseball player, the day of a game has to be measured between 10 a.m. and noon on the day of the game. Okay. Gavin Lux was the second baseman that came up through the Dodgers organization, and now he's been traded to the Rays, and he's playing left field, and he's going to was traded to the Reds, now leaving for the Rays. Had to get his official height measured. Well, when he was with the Dodgers and with the Cincinnati Reds, Gavin Lux was listed as 6'2", 6'2", 190. I remember Gavin Lux playing down here at Principal Park when he was in the Dodgers organization, and going down there and looking at the guy and going, oh, look at at that short little fella.
He's not 6'2".
He's not 6'2". He's 5'11".
That's a big miss.
He's 5'11". He was listed as 6'2" with the Dodgers and the Reds. And now that they got to put a laser on it, they're like, yeah, we were only off by 3 inches. In the grand scheme of things, I thought that was neat. So here's the deal. The rules are super strict, Travis. No shoes, no hats, obviously. Knees exposed, back against the wall, and to account for potential shrinkage throughout the day, MLB is even requiring all teams to take measurements between 10 a.m. and noon local time on their appointed day. So it's not every day that they have to go and do the measurements, but there are appointed days for each team. And when they do it, those are all the rules they have to follow. No shoes, no hats, duh. Knees exposed, back against the wall.
You know somebody's just going to come up butt naked one time going, all right, measure me up.
Didn't say nothing
Measure
about...
me up.
What was that? There was that player that... was it Adam Dunn? There was a player that played for the Reds that they called like Donk. And we were like, oh, why do you guys call him Donk? And they were like, because of the locker room.
You don't see what we see. Wow.
So I thought that was a kind of an interesting.
You know
story
what? I would have never known that. I'm glad you shared that story because I knew that they would have to do. So the little box is going to be different or adjust for every batter that goes in.
For every batter, and it's a percentage of the total height that is where the strike zone is for top and bottom.
Is that more for the ABS? Is that?
It's for the ABS.
Yeah, because an umpire who, when he calls his balls and strikes, has that strike zone based on his height anyway, right? You're like, okay, I can see where your knees are. I can see where all this is at. Umpire. And that's probably you're wondering, how are umpires fairly accurate? It'd be interesting to see how many calls, like if at the end of the season we find out that umpires were like 93% accurate.
And that's a pretty good number. That'll be a pretty good number. That might even be low, Trav. That might even be low.
But
I mean,
that
really
speaks
good.
volumes to how good they are then.
In fact, the other day in a spring training game, one of the most egregious misses ever recorded by the system. A ball was right down the middle. I mean, in the middle of the strike zone was called a ball and instantly challenged, turned around, strike.
There was a story the other day. An umpire, there was challenge, and the umpire left his mic open. He goes, please be wrong. Please be. He was hoping he was wrong because it was like 110 degrees and he wanted to get out. He was right, Ross, by like less than a quarter of an inch.
He was
Crazy.
asking for the game to be over.
Yeah.
Good on him to make that.
All right, everybody, enjoy your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Hope you enjoyed the show. Share it with your friends and enjoy your Tuesday. It's the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Start spreading the news, cause it's time to buy booze, and there's only one place to be. You can see all your friends, the good times never end, unless you're just loitering. It's Central City, we can make your dreams come true. No guarantee your dreams will come true. Central City, all this booze is waiting for you. Look at all this booze.
Hi, Noel from Fiscus Jewelers. Thinking about popping the question? Take their breath away with a diamond you can trust. Rare and forever natural diamonds. Thoughtfully selected and pre-screened using advanced technology. If you don't see exactly what you're looking for, we'll custom design it together. Our experienced team is here to help you create something truly meaningful. And let's not forget about the guys. We proudly offer the largest selection of men's wedding bands around. Fiscus Jewelers, your jeweler for life.
As winter turns to spring and the world comes alive again, one thing remains true. Potholes can really mess up your day. From busted tires to knocking your alignment out of whack, hitting a pothole can cause some serious damage. For the month of March, Land Rover Des Moines is offering 20% off a pothole special. Tire rotate, balance, and alignment package to keep you on the road. Give us a call or schedule online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
With the Iowa Lottery's new Millionaire for Life game, you could win $1 million a year for life. That could make you a My Dream Job is No Job millionaire. A front row tickets to every show millionaire. A hire a personal glam squad for you and your bestie millionaire.
Yep, a little further.
Or just to never run out of your favorite pickles millionaire. With Millionaire for Life from the Iowa Lottery, you can change your life for life. Play today.
Keep your edge with Body Armor Sports Drink. Bold flavors, electrolytes, and hydration that goes the distance. Grab Body Armor before the grind, during the game, and after the win. Body Armor Sports Drink. Hydration that's real and better for you. Pick up Body Armor Sports Drink on your next grocery store run or convenience store trip.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the champagne of bars.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.